This is the 2-man 100% one-shot for Golem on Otherworldly difficulty. We've got Aram and we've got Straze, and that's it. Because Golem does not have a lot of HP, it's pretty easy to kill. We don't need attack buff, especially since they removed the attack buff, or the attack difference requirement from Straze S3, so we can just Straze S3, Aram resets him, pushes him up, and he S3s again. We're going to be showing 2 different setups for Straze, and then we'll also show another unit that can technically one-shot Golem, but though the stat requirement is absurdly high. The reason we have 2 setups for Straze is because technically the easiest to gear version is to let the boss take a turn first, and then it hits us. After it hits us, Aram procs S2 will get Vigor buff, and then you'll have Straze S3 with Vigor. Aram pushes him up, he still has Vigor, plus he has exploding weak points, and he S3 again. So that version is really, really easy to gear. The problem is that you're going to get speed RNG'd by your friendship farming units, which isn't a huge deal, because you can just run them skills off, but that's going to waste a bit of time. I don't think anybody really needs to be concerned about that. It's probably like a 5-second time loss at most, but we'll show both anyways, the fastest version plus the easier to gear version. So first up, let's take a look at Straze. For Straze, you want him with a little bit of speed, just so he doesn't speed RNG the Aram. The boss, from my testing, looks like it's about 130, like high 130s. So we're gonna go try to stay below 125 just to be safe. And then the rest of it is just attack and crit damage. Really, this is too much attack. You don't even need this much attack to kill the boss. It is not hard, as long as you have Destruction Torrent. And we've got Daydream Joker as our artifact. And then for Aram, I'll also show she has Imprint, but I'm leaving Straze off of it. I've got her on Warhorn, and I have her at base speed. You could maybe give her like a little bit of speed, like 1 or 2 more speed, just to be safe if you want, if you're really worried about, if you're worried about, like, the slow add. It's the tree guy that heals, but I haven't had him cut at all. I haven't had him cut Aram at all. Also keep in mind that because the Golem hits you and gives you speed buff, the speed RNG range between Aram and Straze is probably going to be 1 or 2 speed higher. I would go 2 speed higher than the usual calculation to be safe. Because usually for 114, you'd expect 121 to be safe, but it's actually 122 or 123. So that's one of the reasons I have my Straze at like 124 speed instead. And let's go ahead and take a look. So we overkilled by a lot there. It's definitely not hard to kill this boss when you're running him slow. So now let's take a look at the faster version, because ideally we don't want our friendship farm units to take a turn, waste time with their S1, and also let's just cut out Golem's turn entirely. We're not going to let him use his attack, so Aram won't proc her S2, and this will be the fastest possible run. So for that, we're going to have Aram a little bit faster. I don't know exactly what Golem's speed is. From my testing, I think it's around like 139 maybe, like somewhere in that like high 130s range. So we're gonna go 149 speed just to be safe. You could probably get like 1 or 2 speed lower than this and be okay. I mean, worst case, the boss cuts you sometimes. It's not a huge deal. We got our 149 speed with Warhorn. And we have Straze off of the Aram imprint still. And for Straze, I've made him 10 speed faster than Aram. Technically, we only need 9. I always do 1 extra speed to be safe if I can. And this is the gear that I have on him. I would say this is a lot higher end. Like I said, it's not the end of the world if you can't manage to always go before the boss. Like, you could have a version where Straze goes, then the boss goes, and then Aram, and you only have Vigor on your second hit. If you kill, you kill. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and see how long this takes. Yep, very, very fast. I don't even think that was like 25 seconds. There's also going to be the question of who else can do this. We'll try with Lilibet first. Lilibet, after her buffs, has very, very high damage. No self-attack buff, though, so that might hurt her a little bit. This is the Lilibet that I'm using. This is literally the best possible Lilibet I can make on my account. I can't do any better than this, unfortunately. There's definitely some parts that could be improved, but whatever. And then for S3, it's our S3 damage EE with Daydream Joker, and we have this +5, +5. So let's go and see how it goes. So we just barely managed to kill there, which is pretty nice. I'm trying to think whether or not that was speed RNG related, because when I was testing, I did not kill with this build. Maybe it's because the Vigor and the... I'm gonna say I think it's because the Vigor and the exploding weak points were on turn 2. Sometimes my Lilibet doesn't go first. Let's slow down my Lilibet. So I can slow her down a little bit here on the chest piece. This has too much speed. So let's just do this. We'll drop her 4 speed and see how it goes. I think I have one with 3. There we go. So here she gets Vigor on turn 1 instead, so no exploding weak points on her first S2 hit. And that makes a difference, I guess. This guy is still alive. Let's see how much he heals here. 23782, 2315, 2177. He had like about 1k left, I think, just estimating that. But yeah, so there's a little bit of RNG there. But if I just put my Lilibet in the attack percent slot for Aram, she does kill. Yeah, this just barely kills with the extra attack percent imprint. The last unit I tried is Gala Lilias. We are just short of killing, and I am also cheating, because I have her in the Aram attack imprint slot. So we're getting a bit of attack from Aram, and also my Gala is SSS. Plus 30 Daydream Joker, here are her stats. I am missing some crit damage, so if I try to get more crit damage back, this is a stat loss. I have not used actual fribbles, this is just hand gearing. So maybe I have the gear for it, but I'm not fribbling anything. This is the gear that I'm using though. And then Aram, I just have her base speed to be slower than Gala. And we can just see how close we get with this up.
영광으로 알거라. 최선을 다해 발버둥 쳐봐. 물론 의미 없는 지시를 내리자.
He's still alive. So we almost got it. I am curious how much HP he has left. He killed for 23782. Okay, so he lived with like less than That's like 600 HP left. So we're pretty close, but again, I'm cheating with imprints. So Gala, probably not doable. I was hoping that she would be usable because of her self-attack buff, but it looks like it's just kind of just Straze. Lilibet is a little bit hard to gear as well.